You're listening to Off-Road Garage Podcast, and here are Jason and Jim.
And we're live. Special day.
With our buddy, Angel, 7 slot.
Hi.
Hey. How's the CEO of All Things Gnarly doing today?
Oh, man. Just living fucking life. Loving it.
Awesome.
All right.
One day at a time, right?
Yeah, I try. All right. I'm going to read. I have a cheesy intro. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can't wait.
Are you ready? All right. Here we go. Dearly beloved, welcome to another episode of the 7 Slot Society podcast, the off-road lifestyle podcast that nobody asked for. Today, I'm here with one of the rising duos of the off-road podcast game, the Southern Canadians from Off-Road Garage Podcast, Jason and Jim. Thank you guys for joining us, and welcome.
What's going on?
Thank you for the beautiful intro. Southern Canadians, I love it.
Yeah, right? Can you guys, for those of you that don't know who these fellas are, can you give me like a 1 or 2 minute lowdown on who you are and where you're from? And what you do in like
sure.
off-road?
Jason, we're from Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And I like to four-wheel Jeeps and stuff.
On the beach.
I also work on them mostly because we've chosen Jeeps over anything else. So constantly working on them. Basically becoming an ASE mechanic, one Jeep at a time.
YouTube
ASE-ish.
certified?
ASE-ish.
Yeah,
If there's
exactly.
a test specifically for Jeeps in like another 10 years, I'll be able to ace that.
There you go.
And I'm Jim. I've been wheeling for, 20 some odd years. A couple different Jeeps. I got into it for like the exploration side of it, getting in the
Okay.
backcountry, the backwoods. And I just needed something better and better to get me further in.
Mm-hmm.
And I started wrenching on them more with Jason because I don't make a lot of money. And just dropping it off at a shop. We got some great shops in our area, like, Ken Farley's Dr. Death Wobble shop.
Right.
But I can't always be like, hey, dude, here's $6,000, put this lift kit in for me. Or, hey, dude, here's $4,000, put these gears in for me.
Exactly.
So I'm the adventure guy more. Jason's the mechanic, but we're kind of like cross-training each other to get more into the other side of it.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you're like the
he's
perfect
more
duo.
adventure.
Yeah.
I'm really good at breaking stuff and then fixing it. And I really like off-road because I don't like to keep things clean or nice.
Yeah. It's easier that way.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts about this is like I'll go out and we're in Michigan, so we've got 2 states basically, at the lower and the upper peninsula. I'll go to the upper peninsula for like a week-long off-roading trip solo by myself. And Jason's like, do you have spare ECMs? No. You got spare U-joints? I'm like, I got 2. He's like, well, there's
Hold on. You didn't even have a winch.
Yeah, I didn't have a winch at the time. And he's like,
You
Jeez.
had a spare tire a couple times?
you can't do this. I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right. It'll be cool. I brought
That gives
tent
me a
and some
panic
food.
attack thinking about it.
Same thing with him. And
Yes, exactly. I'm
Nobody
like
knew
a
about
plan
that.
B guy.
I got no phone service, no GPS signal. I'm like, I'll figure it out.
Jeez. Full panic attack mode. So you guys have done 40 episodes of your podcast so far. Is that right?
Yes.
With the first
That is
one,
correct.
the first one aired on June 26th of 2019. Does that sound about right? Am I making
Somebody
stuff
did
up?
their homework.
You did your homework.
I did a
don't
little
know,
bit of
tell us.
homework. So
Pretty rad.
what's been your favorite or worst episode? Like, what's the one that stands out, whether for good reasons or bad reasons?
Favorite or worst?
The first several episodes, we started out very bare bones. As in, I think the first episode was just like recording into the phone. And then we went to...
We put your phone on speaker on the box of Raceline wheels and just talked to it. And then it didn't
Right.
record, so we had to record it to a tablet.
Yeah, I got really messy.
It was a mess.
And it progressed from there. I think at some point we got lapel mics.
Yep.
And they didn't sound good.
Mm-hmm.
So we needed to keep them up in the air a little bit. So I modified the wife's former college lamp into a mic stand.
That was
And,
pretty gnarly. Very nifty
We
of
kept
you.
it authentic. You definitely got the in the garage feel.
Yes.
Thankfully, you control yourself better now because you just slap the desk all the time. And that was part of the problem with lapels. You
Yeah.
make the desk.
Yeah, you got to make a lot of noise
Yeah.
because you're
Right.
not used to talking
I think
with a microphone in your face. So it was a big learning curve.
Right.
I think
Anyone who's like, oh, yeah, I'll just start a podcast. No, there's a learning curve to it. There's getting comfortable.
I don't have any unfavorites because they're all, like you said, they're all learning episodes. But I think my favorite was the "Don't Be a Douchebag" episode because
That
it's kind of
one
just
was
like
great.
a rant.
I did
Yeah.
enjoy that one. You were feeling yourself on that one, and I appreciated
Mhm. Yeah, we got into a certain mode there, and It was definitely fueled by some hops.
Well, yeah, that was the other.
I'm all
A
about
lot
it.
of our first season was fueled by a particular type of Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah, I'm all about that. All about it. But what I really appreciate is that you guys just decided to do it and start the podcast, because a lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm going to start a podcast, but I got to like save up a bunch of money and then buy a bunch of expensive ass equipment, and I don't have $1,000 to start a podcast." But you guys just said fuck it and did it, which I really appreciate.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of what we got into, just like diving in and, you know, figuring out if we would even be a good fit for it, you know, because
Right.
Jason and I drove out to Moab together and we talked for 24 hours each way.
Yeah,
And we're like, well, we can talk.
That's
Do
where
other
the
people
idea
want to talk
came
to
from.
us? Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, that was like the sales point. Like, we can do this. I think we can do this.
or the catalyst. If you
Oh,
will.
Right.
the catalyst.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
good
much
word.
better word.
Yeah,
Catalyst.
I read the thesaurus today on the toilet.
That toilet paper with like
or
the
the
word of the
commode.
day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of words with it.
All right, so let's get into the weeds on what vehicles you guys have and like what's done to them, how many you have. Jason, do you want to lead us off?
It's like he's been here.
You have a couple, don't you? You have a couple.
It's like he's
I
been
have a
here
couple.
because you have rigs in the weeds, literally.
Yeah. Are you got satellite imagery on my house right now?
I'm outside your
Yeah.
window.
You want to start with the one in the weeds?
I can see you.
You can
There's
you can
a
start with whatever you
46
want.
There was a 46 flat fender I rescued out of the woods
Uh-huh.
with dreams of, you know, there's always like, oh man, that shouldn't just be left there to rot. And
Of
I think at the
course
time
not.
the land was getting developed, so it was just going to get crushed by a bulldozer and demolished. So for whatever reason, I dragged that home.
To rot
And
here.
then,
To rot in
made
your
it
yard.
Yes, to rot in my yard off on the side. I call it yard art. It makes it fancy. And then, yeah, I've had a bunch of stuff over the years. I guess I still have, there's a Samurai, an 88 Suzuki Samurai.
Does
With
that
a
one run?
BMW motor.
No. I got the bright idea to try and put a BMW. Oh, God, I forgot what it even is now.
3 something, wasn't it? Like a 3
Yeah,
series?
318, maybe?
Something like that, yeah. 318 XI or something.
Yeah, it was something retarded. I had the whole car, so I'm like, well, it's kind of like measured up, like it would fit, and got one of those, hey, this would be cool and different, and it
Right.
just turned out to be different, challenging, and completely lost all motivation to make it work. So it's sitting there rotted. I think I traded it. Some guys, I think, one of our buddies that is going to come pick it up. I traded him for.
You said that like 2 years ago. It's been
Yeah.
like 2 years he traded the
You can
channel.
see how
Oh,
eager
geez.
he is.
Yeah.
to come
So
get
you
it.
have long-standing yard art.
Yeah. It's starting to it starts an original paint color, and then as the moss takes over, it becomes green.
Ah,
The problem is that was a rad little Sammy until you started screwing with it.
Isn't
Yeah.
it?
It was a
it's
rad little
always,
truck.
It's always like that, though, isn't it? Oh, I wish I hadn't a blah blah blah.
Yeah, it had the original 1.3 liter. I think they're like a whopping like 60 horsepower or something stupid.
Uh-huh.
It definitely was less than that because it had more blow by than it did compression. So there's a couple videos. If you search on YouTube, you'll find it. I'm not telling you where they are though. You got to find me.
Oh,
But a lot of people
jeez.
comment.
Uh-oh. Hang on one second. Shit. You still there?
Yeah, you there?
Hang on. My fucking... Give me 1 second. My recorder just died. What the fuck?
Technology.
Technology.
We got you on our end.
Fucking blows. Hang on 1 sec. Give me 2 seconds. Motherfucker.
Mira, mira, ¿qué estás haciendo, mijo?
Ah, so ridiculous, this goddamn thing. For some reason, the USB just cut out, so I'm going to switch over to some battery power real quick. It's going to take me 2 seconds.
I'm leaving this on our recording. It's gonna be awesome.
You can. You're a family-friendly podcast.
Not really.
We check explicit.
I always check explicit just for the case that it turns out that way, but sometimes you slip. That gives me time to think about where I'm going to go with my epic vehicle list of shit. Your epic vehicle list of poop. Do you have a running rig right now?
Who? Testing. Hello? Can I get a mic check from you guys real quick? Perfect.
Here.
Okay, we're back. All right, we're back.
All right, we're back.
Where did we
So
leave
where was
off?
I?
Sammy.
Sammy,
Yeah.
318 Sammy.
Yeah, 318 BMW Sammy. It looks good. It fit well. Didn't work. Don't do that. Stick with what works. Yeah, no, it was. I had a full cage.
Poop pipe stinger.
Yeah, poop pipe stinger.
There you go.
One of my first, like, hey, I bought, a pretty inexpensive poop pipe bender. Let's see what I can do with it. It turned out like halfway decent.
That was good.
I was,
Nice.
I'm like proud of myself. But yeah, it lacked power. So I went with the whole, I'll just engine swap it. Hey, I have this whole car right here. How hard could that be? Just put one in the other. I would get fuel injection. I would get all the goodies. It was kind of a fast car. So I'm like, it'll be fun. Kind of a stupid fast Sammy. Horrible idea. Don't do that.
Took too
So
long,
that's
got
sitting
bored.
there. What's that?
Took
Exactly.
too long,
Oh, yeah.
got bored.
Absolutely. Lost all interest. It fell down the list of, important things. I think I ended up getting something else. I think I had another Samurai. I was running for a little while.
Yeah, the tan one
Yeah.
on the 35-inch MTRs,
Yeah.
the old school MTRs.
Dumb.
Damn,
Um,
he's got your
them-
number. He knows your list better than you do.
Dude, I loved that Sammy. I wanted it. He came over, like, I stole it. I was like, bro, you could have called me.
Yeah.
I'd
It
have
was
drove
good.
to work.
I taught my oldest daughter how to drive a stick in that thing in the backyard, throw it low
Well,
range.
that's just sentimental then at that point.
Yeah, but I kind of sold that. Got a 95 V8 Jeep Grand Cherokee ZJ.
Oh.
Trail limo. Yeah, trail limo.
Trail limo. Yeah, things sweet. It was already like it was beat, so I was like, wouldn't be mad about beating it up more. And then I think I was on the interwebs and came across. Well, I still have that one, so it's sitting in the yard. I don't think it runs either.
Is that
came
the one that
across-
you've been working on? Or is that a different ZJ?
That's a different one.
That one ran when
Okay.
parked, though.
Ran when parked, legitimately. I think it just needs a battery. It'll fire up. I'm almost confident. Might have to. I might have to switch to that one here in a little bit.
Yeah.
This one. So anyway, so I was on the interwebs and came across the one I have now, which is a 96 4-liter. It was kind of already had the sliders, had the bumper, kind of
Uh-huh.
had a little bit of lift on it. I'm like, all right, cool. Guy's like, I'll trade for an ATV. I'm like, well, I had like a Banshee at the time.
Uh-huh.
I messaged him. He's like, yeah, let's trade. I'm like, okay, cool. So met up with him, did the deal, traded, got the title, came back. It was like, for him, it was like a project that stalled also. He had a bunch of
Okay.
new parts. So I was able to get it together, spend some money, upgrade some stuff. I had it on 33s, wheeled that for about a year. I think there was a trip coming up, ended up going to 35s for about a year, ended up grenading the Dana 30 at Snowfari 2018, maybe? Is that
Okay.
right, Tim?
Semi-recent.
Yeah. Well, what year did we go to? Was it 18?
I think it was 18. Grenaded the front gears and came half again. I'm the guy that everyone hates because I always come across as like deal.
Yeah,
Right.
he does.
So guys like, hey, I got this Super Duty frame and axles. You want that? I'm like, yes, I do.
Of course.
So that
you can always use that.
Turned into the 1-ton swap, and rear, did a rear bumper, some other stuff. It's on 37-inch TSL SSRs,
Mm-hmm.
and
Finish your hydro steer.
just finished hydro assist. So that was all working good. And that brings me up to like today. I like a couple weeks back took the doors off because it's like modified enough where I thought I could pull it off.
It does
Even
look
though it's
good.
a unibody,
Right.
Yeah.
it looks just that beastly that no one questions.
There you go.
And apparently it doesn't like it because it went into full aneurysm and now it won't. It cranks but won't start. So chasing down some electrical
Because
demons.
you took the doors off?
I blame it on that. I put your stickers on it too.
Oh,
That
that's
probably
definitely
same
what
day.
did it. Definitely scraped those off.
sucked the life right out of it. It knew what future it had.
It said must be nice, and you
It was like
Exactly.
I'm destined for the scrapyard now.
The death blow. Marked for death.
Yeah.
That's
So
too funny.
yeah, I mean, memory serves. That pretty much sums it up.
That's
So,
about it.
that sounds about right.
Do what?
I guess it's up to you now, Jim.
So my list is less, I guess, less exciting than yours. I mean, you've had a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So I got
But
my
yours,
first
but
Jeep
your
was
stuff runs and drives.
the TJ doesn't drive right now,
Uh-oh.
but it does run.
Okay.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah. So I got the TJ as my first vehicle in 1999, and I've
Right.
had it ever since.
That's ridiculous, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you. Nice old lady next door to us when I was little. I grew up cutting her grass and taking care of her after her husband passed away, and sometimes good things happen, and she left us some cash. So I got the Jeep after she passed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty rad. I've had it ever since. So obviously there's some sentimental stuff there, so I can't get rid of it.
Right, absolutely.
4.5 inch. It was a Rubicon Express long arm lift. 35 inch BFGs. Locked front and rear.
Oh, damn.
You got the spool in the rear, right?
Spool in the rear, ARB in the front. Yeah.
Fancy locker.
Yeah, buddy. And then before we went to Moab in 2019, Jason and I redid all the control arms with Barnes parts, new Barnes universal joints or Johnny joints, Billy joints, Heims.
Yeah, all new Heims.
Yeah. Anti-rock front, Warren winch. The winch doesn't work right now, but it'll be a rebuild.
That's why it sat for so long that moss grew on the windshield.
Yeah.
The suspension, all the Heims that were originally on it froze up. But I want to say, to give you credit, that Jeep 10 years ago was poster worthy.
Yeah.
It had all the right parts.
Oh, I believe it.
For the
Rubicon
period.
Express long arm. That's big spendy, boy.
And
yeah.
ARB full front bumper with the Warren winch.
ARB
that
snorkel.
thing was total magazine worthy.
Jim, how much did you cry when you
probably
started
20
cutting
years
that
ago.
ARB bumper?
I hesitated a little bit.
I didn't
hit it with the plasma.
I didn't have a chance because I'm I think I'd like to make this a stubby or something. And Jason goes, "What, you want to cut it right here?" And pulls out a plasma cutter and just gets after it. And I'm
shit.
Caught some rags on fire.
Yeah.
All sorts of amazingness.
You
So I'm
turned
like, well, I guess
around
it's
and
a
it's
stubby
half
now.
off.
Yeah. I'm like, well, might as well do the other side now because
Oh shit! It's too late.
I could have welded it back on.
I started trying to trim it when I got bigger tires because it was eating the tires.
Right.
'Cause they're made for Australia where it's like a little tire town.
Right. Yeah.
But once the 35's gone, it was eating the tires up. So that's been rebuilt. It turns over and it runs. It just doesn't. The brake lines blew out on it when I was driving the gas station.
We get back from Moab driving on the side of cliff faces where I was ready to bail off as it was, and a week later the brake lines blow out on it.
Yeah.
Ooh, Sketch City.
I was just gonna run up to the gas station to get a sixer and some fuel, and I hit the brakes in my driveway, and I heard this noise. I'm like, oh, whatever. Well, I didn't stop. I just kept driving, and
Right.
I looked down. When I stopped, and it was just piss and brake fluid everywhere.
Oh damn.
So it's not a big deal. It's just that braided line that goes over the top of the shock towers near the master cylinder.
Okay.
So it'll be a cheap fix. I just got to do it.
Yeah. Time is the most expensive thing.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Especially I work a weird shift, and I like to see my wife. So because she's pretty cool.
Right.
Try
You
to
like-
keep
you
them
like staying
somewhat
married?
happy.
I like staying married, and I like keeping all my stuff, not just half of it. So,
Yeah. That's what I heard.
yeah. So, and then my daily is a JK 4-door, no angry grill.
The Magic Smoke Edition.
Yeah, the Magic Smoke Edition. 44 front and rear. I got a Terraflex housing in the front, Yukon air locker in the front, Grizzly in the rear, 513s, 37s.
Damn.
So that's my daily. Yeah, it's built for a daily, but it's not built, by comparison to some of these guys out here with the JKs.
Right. How do you like the 513s on the daily?
With the 37s, it's perfect.
Okay.
I'm sure if I had smaller tires, it'd be miserable. But with 37s, that should give me a little bit of pep back so I can actually take off.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I put them on, I was running 307 still.
Oh.
And it didn't want to move.
Yikes.
Once you got up to speed, though, you could cruise.
Right.
But,
The 307s
not
with
happy.
37s? Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
was
it was
not
bad.
happy.
Really, really good overdrive.
Great overdrive.
And that Salt Lake speed run.
Yeah. So then I went to that was a huge jump from the 307s to 513s. So definitely a difference.
Oh, I bet. Shit.
It's less seat of my pants than I was hoping. I hope to really, really feel it, snap me back, but it's still just
Right.
a 3.8.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But the Terraflex housing has been huge. I put a Dana 44 in the front with chrome ollies and the Yukon gear locker.
Nice. Built
I've
to
been super happy
last.
with it. Yeah, I mean, I've learned from the last when I built my TJ, if you do it right the first time, it saves you money. It sucks up front, but it saves money.
Right.
Yeah.
That initial slap in the face.
Yeah. Versus hey, let's go wheeling. Okay, cool. Everything's broken. So when I built the TJ, I did it in, a college kid's budget and stages.
Right.
So my very first lift kit there, I got from AutoZone or O'Reilly's,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like little square chunks of rubber, and you wedged them in the coil
Oh, jeez.
just to make the coil stand up a little bit taller. It was
Right.
between the coil springs, not above like it's supposed to be. That was my first
Right.
lift.
Oh, jeez.
So I've been through every generation.
Totally did that late 90s high school kid like modification.
Oh yeah. What can I get for $40 to look cool?
The evolution of your Jeep is legendary.
Yeah.
I should have done a whole book on it.
I've got a
That
photo
is
album.
awesome.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to show me that or post it somewhere because I need to look at that.
Yeah, you get to see a picture of me in high school at 125 pounds wearing Fox racing gloves with bleached blonde hair and my shirt off.
Shut the fuck up! You're lying to
boy.
me.
I was trying to be Jeremy. I was
No,
going to be
he's
Jeremy
not
McGrath.
allowed for that.
Yeah.
I
I
have
thought I
to
was
see
Ricky
that.
Carmichael. Yeah.
Oh my god, I have to see that. That's the fucking best. Oh jeez.
Yeah, that was pretty rad.
Okay, so
So does yours run yet?
this is my podcast. We're not talking about me. Okay.
It's like half hours.
So just simmer down. When it gets back to my house, then we can talk about it, which should be sometime next week.
Okay. Spoiler.
So yeah, right. So I have a kind of cheesy question, but bear with me here. In your mind, at what point is your build going to be done? And don't say it's never going to be done, because everybody has like an end goal in mind, like what they want it to be. And what's that for you guys?
It just made me realize I completely forgot one of my vehicles that doesn't run.
Well, what is it?
257.
I have a 71 CJ5. That
And what's the status
is my
of that?
it will run
It's got a motor in it.
if you pour some gas down the carb and hook up a battery. There's usually some sparks and something goes on and it spits and hacks. And it's the odd fire Buick, so it sounds gnarly.
There you go.
Out of side pipes too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's got headers up the
Yeah.
side. Yeah, it's on Dana 44 Waggy axles.
Nice.
That's my future project. I assume my mind would love to tell you that it's going to be done within a year, but realistically, I give it 3
Yeah,
Three.
there you go.
3 years. But if I get it in here in the garage, I have a 2-post lift in here. If I get it up in there and where I can like stare at it, I might be more motivated to work.
When
That
it's
and
staring
Fuse can
you
be
in
like
the
my
face.
TJ.
Yeah,
Once
it's also
you-
time and money.
Once
You know
it's in
how
here, you start ripping it apart and you realize you got to do it. That's what you did to my Jeep. But the money was easier because it wasn't yours. He'd call me and be like-
Spending other people's money.
He'd call me with a parts list from Barnes or something like, I need all this. I'm like, what did you do? So I cut all your control arms off yesterday, and I showed up, and sure as hell, everything was burned off my frame.
Oh shit.
You know,
and parts of your frame.
Yeah.
Like patchwork and oh yeah. Yeah, I was like, this was broke.
I had to fix it.
Might as well cut it off.
Right. Oh.
So I think for me, like at least the JK,
Hmm.
it's almost to where I would think it would be considered done in my mind.
That's what I was gonna say, or what I was gonna think.
Without like, you know, because you can't say done and say, well, oh, a new radio came out that I wanted or something stupid like that.
Right. Yeah.
But as far as like, I'm planning on changing the suspension over to a full kit, because right now it's got JKS arms in the front and Rancho arms in the rear, and
Mm-hmm. A little
I'd like to
piecemeal.
just do like a full Terraflex long arm in it, and then
Okay.
I think it would be done. Other than like, you know, here and there a slider, because I don't have sliders on it yet. But the structural, the main part of it would be done. And I honestly hate to say it, but I don't think the TJ will ever be done, because every time we go wheeling, I find something else that I want to do to it.
Uh-huh.
But when we wheeled it in Moab, and I don't want to beat the guy, it's like, I'm awesome. So I'll let Jay do that part.
I'll vouch for it. It did extremely well.
But
And
for,
being the guy who kind of like helped put it together, my fingers were crossed the whole time. Like, please don't break.
Oh, I bet.
for what it,
You're sweating.
yeah. Oh, he was sweating hard. And like when I slammed it, we were going on top of the world, and I slammed the back control arm into a ledge. And he was like, dude, my weld's held. I welded that. I fucking welded that. Yeah, dude. Yeah. After
It's
that,
like
it was-
justification, you know,
Yeah.
like you feel good about it when you do it, but you know, when you start stressing things,
Right.
it gets a
Yeah.
little nerve wracking.
Real world
But for me,
testing.
Absolutely.
like, yeah, that one in my mind should be a 6-liter and Dana 60s and, you know, 40-inch stickies and all that kind of mess. But it did really well on 35s.
Hmm.
So I don't really know that it'll ever be done, but I don't know how much more I'm going to do to it.
Right.
It's one of those that's really good the way it is.
Yeah.
But you're still gonna probably end up fucking with it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because, like, I'd like to, the 30 makes me nervous. You know, spinning 35s on Slick Rock with
Right.
lockers makes me nervous in that Dana 30.
Right.
But I don't think I want to go, like, I watched Jay in his 1-tons, and they're huge. And the truck
heavy.
weighs so much more, and then it's
Right.
extra width, and it's all this other stuff. But then
Mhm.
you talk to anybody else about, hey, I'm going to build a 44, and they're like, why?
Yeah. I'm sure the internet will explode right now just talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you put
of
a 44 in it, and you're going to spend $4,000.
But I think it would be perfect on like the half ton Ford, like Dana 44 9-inch rear.
Right.
I think so. And especially if I kept it on like 37s or smaller,
Mhm.
for the type of wheeling that I do, it'd be perfect.
With that rig, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if I do something else crazy, like get another TJ and put a 6-liter in it, yeah, okay, tons and 40s are in the works. But,
Go all out.
you know, yeah, for sure. But I mean, it works well and it's relatively inexpensive to fix. I can get parts for it. I can get Dana 30 shafts on Drummond Island in Michigan if I have to.
Right. That's
You know,
that's
versus,
my
like-
thing. Like people overbuild so that it'll never break again. Like what's wrong if you just carry a couple spares of the shit you know you're gonna break instead of spending $5,000 doing a fucking 1-ton swap or something.
And you
That's-
say that never word, right? Now I'm out in the middle of the desert somewhere and I snap an RCV. And
You have
I can't find
RCVs in
one.
your Dana 30?
No, I'm saying if that was the case, like if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you got a 60 with RCV in it and you break it, or you pull the splines out of it,
Right.
and now you can't find one, and now your entire weekend's ruined,
Exactly.
or
yeah.
your week or whatever. You know,
Or usually send that weak point to something else.
Right.
Probably
Mhm.
more hard.
more
to come
internal.
by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. I think everyone just got that internal fear of being the guy that holds up the whole trail, you know, being broke on the side. And
Right.
well, that was our biggest concern with the TJ. We were going to go on a run with Warren.
Yeah, you
So
were out
Pritchett
there with the
Canyon.
big dogs.
Yeah, we were going to go to Pritchett Canyon. Like that's like a 9 trail, bro. I'm on
Yep.
35, the Dana 30. I don't want to be the guy in JP Magazine, RIP, getting
Right.
shamed because I'm unprepared.
yeah, you
know?
don't. You definitely don't want to be that guy. But it does come a lot in just how you drive it
Mhm.
and how you wheel it.
Yeah,
Because I've had just as many. I mean, yeah, dragging Dana 60 through Michigan mud, it plows a lot of dirt.
right?
Right.
Or like,
know?
you blew up your Dana 30 in Michigan. Mine survived Moab,
Mhm.
right.
but you launched yours. I didn't.
Right. I
So,
would guess
it-
between the two of you that Jim's a little more cautious driver. Jason, I feel like you're a little wild man. Is that apt?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think some of it depends because like Jason knows he has a trailer to get him home.
Oh yeah, that
So-
changes things.
When he was in Moab or in Michigan up here and he launched it, he's like, well, I got a trailer to drag me back to the truck. I'll go home. Plus, I think secretly he wanted 60s.
That was a good reason.
Oh,
Once
that
he
was your
grenaded, he's
jump
like, well,
off?
If it was a built, it was like the whole truss and sleeve, like 30.
it was the biggest turd you can get, the best turd you can get.
The
Yeah.
Super 30.
Yeah, it was the super turdy. And
But then like me, like when we were in Moab and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go through this hot tub.
Mhm.
You know, 2 rigs in front of me are on 40s and tons with V8s and they did it. I could do it.
Right.
I'm like, hop in. And Jason's like, no. Like,
no, well, like part of me wanted to watch. Like I wanted to be outside because
I would
I
not
just
want to be
wanted
a
to see it work.
passenger in that. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Yeah, it was
not
a
in
little
your Jeep
sketchy.
in that obstacle specifically. I'd rather be driving
Period.
or watching. That's it.
and I think there's something to be said for that too, because even when I knew that we were in control on the rest of the trails,
Mhm.
he's death gripping the oh shit bar.
Right.
And I'm like, bro, we're fine. But he has no idea what I feel or how the truck feels to me or,
Exactly.
you know, and I've been there in the passenger seat when even the wife's driving and I'm freaking out because it's not how I would do it, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's tough being a passenger for sure. So
Yeah. It's
let's
tough being passenger.
let's talk about kit. I know you guys did an episode about this, but I want to get your one piece that no matter where you're going, you cannot leave home without it. And don't say your keys or your cell phone. Those don't count. Like if you're leaving out to go to the trails and you're like, fuck, I forgot, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to turn around and go get it. What's that one thing?
So I've got a couple in mind. I'm not sure what you're thinking.
I don't even know what to think.
So I'm thinking
My
my
mind over prepares.
my CO2 tank.
Stressing out.
Your what?
my CO2 tank,
CO2 tank. Okay.
because I can fill tires, I can run tools, I can reset beads, and it's portable. So if you're 3 rigs in front of me and you blow a bead, I can take it out of my Jeep and run up to you and blow your
Right.
bead back on.
Right.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah,
been
talk
super
dirty
useful.
to me.
Yeah, boy, blow them beads on. You know, it's been super useful. It's been very reliable. And it's kind of like a conversation piece. You'll see it and think it's not NOS on my truck.
Right.
And I'm like, no, dude, it's my CO2 tank. And, you know, I use it for so much stuff that for me, it's almost invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
We were up in Drummond Island in the wintertime, and a buddy of ours was with us. His brother's a fireman, and he gave us a bunch of these rigging bags. I think they're called cribbing bags. So I hooked my CO2 tank up to it, and they're like an inch thick.
Oh yeah, the airbags.
Yeah.
The regular lifting bags.
We threw them up under the axle and hit the CO2, and it picked the whole truck up.
No shit.
No jacking, yeah. No jacking, no having to find a hard spot. It was mud and snow together. So the jack was sliding.
Right.
I used CO2 blow these airbags up, and it didn't even use a quarter of my tank.
Oh shit. So that didn't High Lift make something that like attaches to the muffler?
To the exhaust, yeah.
To the exhaust.
Was it High
Yeah.
Lift?
Was it
Somewhere
High Lift?
about
ARB.
ARB.
It was
ARB.
ARB, but it was the same kind of thing.
Yeah, the big orange ARB
okay.
thing.
Similar in function, but yeah, just a little more heavy duty with what he had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was like a heavy rescue kind of stuff.
Okay.
Just like, so that, to me, that's one of the most important things. That and TP. I mean,
Oh yeah,
You're not a leaves
EP
kind
is
of guy?
crucial.
I still, after 30 years of being in the woods, I still can't determine what poison ivy looks like. So I
That's
don't think
fucking
Jason wants to be
epic.
putting calamine on me. So
Not how the
Spread
dude.
them.
I only got 2 hands. I got to spread them. So if you're going to put calamine on, you're in charge of the squirting part.
That's
Probably going to use a
hilarious.
stick with leaves on the end to spread it on and just be spreading more on.
Oh shit. No, I definitely agree with the TP. I had one of those small ammo cans, and I would stuck 2 rolls in there and keep it under my seat.
There you go.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
a
with
good
TP.
move.
What about you, Jason, for something you can't leave home without?
I think I'm just going to have to go with a regular tow strap because whether you're stuck or need to just get towed home or to the trailer, in my case, that's pretty much been every vehicle has, including my wife's like daily Explorer. Like I just stuff one in there.
Right.
You never know.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Pretty fair. And plus, nobody ever has one. Like
No one,
It seems like you guys always forget them.
right. I would try to keep them kind of new,
Yeah.
kind of clean.
Mhm.
I mean, even if no one else is around and you break something, you might be able to MacGyver, tie your suspension back together
Right.
with it and maybe limp a little farther.
Right.
But it's also bright and yellow, so maybe you could just form like a help on the
SOS.
ground, like SOS, and maybe they could find the remains later.
He's been watching all the Bear Grylls during quarantine, so he's all fired up.
Oh, survivalist.
No, not at all. That's definitely more you than me.
Got you. So you guys
I'm
are
like-
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
You guys were talking a lot about snow and the UP and being out in the wilderness. Where do you wheel? Because here in Virginia, like we can't just go wherever the fuck we want. We have to go to a park or private property. But apparently, you guys in Michigan have some sort of public land.
We have thousands of miles of public land in Michigan. Basically, once you get past the Flint area,
Mm-hmm.
there's all kind of forest roads that we're able to go on. We've got unimproved, which is like gravel roads, and then they go into like a 2-track, where it's just 2 literal tracks through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're Secretary of State plated and you have an ORV sticker, which is something you buy from the Conservation Department here in Michigan,
Uh-huh.
you can go pretty much anywhere you want.
No
In Michigan,
shit.
we hold up our hand as a map.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything
did know that.
about knuckles and above.
Yeah, about knuckles
you're
and
good.
above.
4-wheel.
Yeah.
Is that considered the UP?
No, UP is when you cross Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah.
That would be at the tip of your middle finger.
Tip. Hold on. I'm looking at my hand. The tip. Okay, so it's way the fuck up there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a whole second state up there that we somehow took from Wisconsin.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's like this is ours.
So
It actually touches their state, but we have to get a bridge, but it's ours. So I don't know how it works, but I love it.
there you go.
It's up there. It's like one of the largest bridges, isn't it?
That's like a 5-mile long suspension bridge.
Yeah.
Just
There's a
bridge.
lot of like facts about Michigan that makes
Hold
it
on.
whatever special.
Mackinac Bridge.
So yeah, exactly.
Hold on. I'm looking
So
at
for
it.
me,
I wanna
like-
see a picture of it.
It's pretty rad.
You'll have to come here. We'll take you.
Oh wow, that's
So
a
for me,
long
like,
boy.
Yeah, it's a long boy. It's 5 miles.
Woo! Good Lord.
And it's great when it's windy because it moves like 22 feet left to right
no
when it's windy.
Shit.
Yeah.
It gets so windy that they'll just play and shut it down. And
Yeah.
if you're trying to
I
go home, they'll be
believe
like,
it.
"Yep, not today."
Not today.
We've lost a half dozen cars off it since it's been built.
Holy
Semis will tip
shit.
over on it. Because if you look at the bridge, the 2 middle parts, the 2 middle lanes
Uh-huh.
are totally great. They're see-through.
Oh shit. I do see
So
that.
when you're on it on some 37-inch mud terrains and they're grabbing the grate and the whole truck starts to get all shaky,
You
pretty
see you're
rad.
fighting it for 5 miles.
yeah, and your wife is not thrilled.
And if you haven't have doors on or you're on a motorcycle, it's like you're flying.
Yeah.
Because there's the grate makes it look like there's nothing under you.
Jesus. Here's a picture.
Yeah.
It's snowing. There's people on snowmobiles crossing the bridge.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they'll cross the bridge, or if there's enough ice, they'll just cross.
I love
cross
how
the
you guys
lake.
are just like, yeah, there's fucking snowmobiles on the bridge. Duh.
That's how you get around.
Yeah,
That
not
is
as
the
much
most.
anymore.
I don't know
Winters
why I've
aren't the
put off
same.
going to Michigan for so long. This place sounds like the fucking
Oh, yeah, you
Wild
gotta go.
West of the North. It's ridiculous.
Well, the funny part is like so many people that live here hate it and they want to leave because there's like it seems restricted compared to Colorado or Montana.
Right.
But if you're into like the out like hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, mountain biking, it's not a bad place to be.
Mhm.
Yeah, I always say, and we have mountains, I guess, by
Fort
definition. But if we had like mountains like Colorado and Utah had with like snow at the peak, I
Mhm.
think it would be, there'd be a lot more people
Want to
talking about
stay.
it. There's lakes, there's sand dunes, we're pretty lucky. We're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, and we can wheel sand, we can wheel rock, we can wheel snow, mud. I mean, it's not just like
Mhm.
you're stuck. We've got the Silver Lake sand dunes or
And
Drummond Island has
for
mud.
a couple things, I don't think nothing can bite you and kill you. Like nothing's poisonous.
We got like
Even
one
our
snake.
bears are kind of like larger dogs.
Yeah,
I saw one of my friends just posted they were at the dunes for the 4th of July.
that looked
Yeah.
That
insane.
looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. I like going on off holiday weekends because you can actually do stuff.
Right. There's not a ton of people.
You know, because there was a lot of rigs out there.
they have like
You see
sand
the-
drags
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, and big hill climbs. Oh yeah, sand drags. That's like all the time there. But they do. Was it the Mount Baldy hill climb?
Yep.
We have a couple friends that do that.
Is
and
that
that's
like a super steep
insane.
dune?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very steep, and there's no run at it. So they start you like at the base of it and just let you hammer up it.
Oh, so it's just
So-
a horsepower contest.
Horsepower and wheel speed. Yeah, that's what you got to have.
yeah.
Jeez.
They have all the different classes. Dune buggies and jeeps and
Okay.
trucks. And,
Raised side by sides and whatever.
but I mean, we've talked to I think Nate McLean, who has like a big long travel, like 70 C10 or C20.
Ooh,
It's a,
I
you know,
remember. That
old-
was a good podcast, guys. I remember
Yeah.
that one.
that truck is amazing. That's his home. That's where he just launches that thing. And
Didn't
it's
he
just
move
gorgeous truck.
closer to there because it was
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's what I remembered.
I mean, you got to appreciate the commitment there. Like he wants to do it so bad, he's willing to move and sacrifice driving every day to work
Right.
longer
Yeah, he
for
like
Saturday.
increased his drive, and just so he
I mean-
could just cruise the dunes during the week when no one else is there.
Yeah.
Right. That sounds
'Cause the
like
weekends
living your
do
best
get
life.
hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's commitment.
Jeez.
And he hucks that thing, man. Well, we got to get out there and see him doing it.
Yeah, it's on our list of things to do this summer. Get
The,
out there
the
and
crazy thing to
go
me
for a
about Silver Lake is the dudes that are in the $100,000 buggies or sand cars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We don't have that much sand like compared to Pismo or something.
ride. Right.
And they're out there just doing, they're doing 7-minute hot laps, and it takes me 40 minutes to get around. And I'm like, bro, it's like not that big. But good, hey,
Yeah, more power to you.
spend the money how you want to spend the money.
Yeah,
Shit.
you'll
Yeah,
see
if you have
just
it.
about everything out there.
And you'll see everything out there from Subaru Outbacks
I've
and
seen like the 80s Corvette
yeah,
with
yeah.
paddle tires.
Astro vans are all-wheel drive. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So
pretty much as long as it passes the sound emissions out there,
Uh-huh.
it's free for all.
No
yeah,
shit.
oh, and side by sides have definitely taken over popularity.
Yep.
But ATVs, dirt bikes, they're all over the place.
Last
Right.
weekend there was a Harley out there. This guy in a Sportster with a paddle on it.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
That's fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
just something you want to be different. He's like, it went really well on the stand drag, but it sucked going downhill because your front end kept pushing. I'm like, yeah, I bet. Like,
Yeah. Shit. So can you give me a list of places that you've been, like places that you've wheeled outside of Michigan? Or are you kind of like Michigan natives?
We're pretty Michigan.
Yeah, so far I haven't done much exploring besides Utah.
Yeah. Same.
That's a
Michigan
big one though.
and Utah.
It was kind of like from nothing to everything,
Right?
Yeah, we definitely took a leap in the off road. You know how that goes, but
We have a short list of places we want to go.
Yep.
Redbird, the one in Harlan, Kentucky. I want to do Gitchagumi in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So there's places that we want to go. We've just never gotten around to it. Like Great Lakes Four-Wheel Drive has done a run up on Gitchagumi for 15 years. It's up in the Sault Ste. Marie, Canada area, and it's hardcore wheeling mixed with overland. Because once you leave the campground, you're talking about, headlight deep water on one obstacle, and next obstacle is 40-inch tall rocks.
Oh, geez. And this is in Canada?
And Yeah, and they're all covered in mud and snot, and you got to figure out how to climb them. And if you break down, like there's been guys that spent 2 days broken in one spot while their friends drove out to get parts to come back and fix their rigs.
Jeez. I don't
So
know.
it's something I've always wanted to do. Yeah.
I'd run
we
out
talked
of
about
beer.
this. We talked about this with Dr. Deathwall, but at some point, it's not about fun. It's about suffering a little bit, and then it sounds more fun afterwards.
It's a better story.
Yeah, it's a much better story.
I can see that, suffering for a story.
But yeah, we'd like to, like I said, Canada, head south.
There's stuff in Tennessee I want to do. There's stuff in Harlan I want to do. I want to go see Maine.
Yeah.
Maine, interesting.
I'm an explorer guy. I'm the woods guy. So like Maine's got a Jeep Jamboree, and I know they have Jeep trails up there. So it'll be something I want to do.
Know that.
Yeah.
Huh. Might have to add that to the list.
Made connections in Texas and more into Utah, and I got family in California, so Rubicon would be on the list of to-dos.
And not out of the question. And like you said, it's time and money and figuring it out. Now that we both have families and other like actual professional careers going on, it's kind of a little bit harder to say, hey, dude, let's disappear for 14 days and go do this Jeep thing.
Yeah,
right,
trying to limit that to just like one every other year. And now it's pretty much Moab. Seems to be Easter Jeep Safari seems to be the hot one. Kind of want to hit more of those trails.
If they could stop that one's cool because shit.
Yes,
exactly.
Let's beat the Rona so I can go wheeling. And the hard part, like, my wife's not super into it. She tried for a while, but she's not super into it. So when I do get, I get every other weekend off.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say, hey, I'm off these 2 weekends, and for both weekends I'm going wheeling, it might be an issue.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out how to set it up where, especially with Jason and his kids, they all do some different sport or hobby.
Yeah. And so, my family is equally not super interested in sitting in a Jeep and bouncing around.
Right. So if one of your kids has got volleyball on the same day that I'm off, well, we're not going that weekend.
Yeah.
So it starts to become an issue. So we got to plan stuff longer term now, which we were supposed to go to Drummond Island in June, and that got Rona'd.
Jamboree.
Yeah, for Jeep Jamboree.
Yep. That was one of the only ones they I think
had to cancel
because the island. Because, it's actually, isn't it like the largest freshwater island?
Yeah, I think so.
And in the north, and then they canceled because they're an island, and the island's like, we don't want anything. We don't have any cases on the island, and we don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to. So
Yeah, so Michigan's got 2 peninsulas and 4 big islands: Drummond, Beaver, Manitou, and Isle Royal. So we've got all kinds of stuff to do. So you can actually get on my favorite thing was I crossed this 5-mile suspension bridge, and then I jump on a ferry across open water to the island I'm going to wheel on.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
And I never left my state. I drove 12 hours, never left my state.
That's ridiculous when you think about it. Aaron Osterman keeps telling me about Drummond Island. Keeps sending me pictures. It sounds like he's like, the wheeling's not super hard. It's just an incredible place to be.
It is, because every trail leads you to an incredible view.
Right.
That's what I really like about it, and that's one of the places my family. One of the places they really liked, and I used it to kind of introduce them to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was it wasn't just, all right, let's do another trail that leads right back to where you are. It was, hey, let's do this trail, which takes about an hour, and all of a sudden you're on a cliff overlooking, this amazing view, and you're at the tip of a pine tree, 100 feet down, So
looking over Lake Huron there.
Yeah, just awesome. Or you're at a beach that's completely these awesome shale stones, and
it's rad. And it's for me, it's exploration. It's because there's that whole sort of adventure aspect of it because you're on an island.
Right.
Yeah, and parts of that island would be pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
a well built rig.
Yeah,
you can find some trouble there for sure.
And especially if you're not. I mean, I'm not really into mud, but there's a lot of mud there.
Right.
There's a lot of mud crossing.
Are the trails mapped out, or is it kind of here's a bunch of acres, go do whatever you want?
No, they're very mapped out.
Yeah,
I would say. You wouldn't, if you had the right map or a GPS, you'd be able to find your way around. You wouldn't get lost.
Okay.
But there are a bunch of other trails that I think kind of the locals know.
Right. But it's not like St. Helen. It's not a scramble area, so you can't go wherever you want. If you get caught breaking new trail, you're going to get a ticket.
Oh.
Yeah, Michigan's pretty strict on that.
So we have 2 areas I know of that are called scramble areas: Silver Lake and St. Helen. And St. Helen, you can run over bushes and climb whatever you want to climb. It's like a free for all. It's almost like being at a park, but it's state run.
Okay.
It's very similar to stuff, it's a really sandy area. so they're not super worried about it.
Right. But
Just
then,
kinda
like when you
dick
go to
around
the
area.
yeah, they've got hill climbs and they've got some we call like Death Valley where it's just you drop down, there's no run, so you're stuck in this valley unless you have horsepower to climb back out of it. It's very sandy and it's kind of like you're kind of wheeling with the roots. Your tires will be spinning in the sand, and you'll snap into a root, and the tire will grab and blow up axle shafts.
Right.
You know, because you got to have wheel speed, but then you hit something solid and it breaks parts.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
So yeah, pretty much all Michigan based so far. But we're looking. I mean, we're always looking to go try something new.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I swear, I'm gonna get up to Michigan one of these days, and someone better take me on a fucking trip.
Well,
Yeah,
let us know when.
Let us know.
We'll go Southwest. We'll go Southwest Detroit. We'll get a bunch of tacos, and then we'll go north.
Oh, I'm down. The worse neighborhood, the better. That's where the good tacos are.
Yeah. Southwest Detroit, the barrio.
Those we got.
All right, so
we go to Silver Lake. The family can hang out on a beach, or we can head north to an awesome island and bounce on some rocks and also end up at a beach.
Also, so it'd probably just be me.
What am I a big fan of?
My family's not a real big fan of the wheeling. My
Same boat.
wife gave it a go. She really did. Shout out to the Trap Queen, but she
Shout out Trap Queen.
Not a huge fan. She enjoyed the drinking at the campfire, though.
Yeah.
Well, there. I think they all got that down.
Yeah.
They can all do that.
Well, that's the one rad thing about Silver Lake is I can drop my wife off at the beach, and she can sit at the beach while I go wheeling all day, and then I come back and we'll make. There's a taco truck at Silver Lake now.
Oh no shit! Is it worth a fuck?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not super great, but it's way better than Taco Bell or Chi-Chi's.
There you go. Chi-Chi's.
And they're right there on the beach.
Of those in a minute.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute for Chi-Chi's, but I figured I'd throw a throwback for you. See what kind of taco G you were.
Jeez, fucking old. All right, so let's talk about your worst trip. Your worst trip where everything went wrong. I need your fucking horror story. And I'm assuming they're two different ones. Because I don't think anything's gone super wrong on any trips you guys have been on together, I think.
Do you have a horror story? I mean,
I don't.
See, I'm like, the weird part is I'm sort of optimistic. Like, one of my worst trips was one of the snow faris I went out, and I blew up parts of my Jeep. And, I've got the Warren lockouts in the TJ, right?
Probably describe snow fari a little bit.
Yeah, so snow fari is an event that a local Jeep club puts on. I used to be a big part of it, and we do it up in northern Michigan in the wintertime.
Okay. I would assume
this year
by
went
the
up,
name.
Yep, this year went up, and that was my fault. We were in this club, and nobody would do an event. So I was like, dude, we'll do an event, and we're going to call it Snow Fari. And I did it in front of the whole meeting of people, so they put Snow Fari on the agenda.
Oh, that was you named it.
Yeah, I named it. It was my group that did it. So I was like, well, now we got to do this. So we're up wheeling one year, and I've got a Warren lockout kit on my Dana 30. So it's got lockouts like a 1-ton does.
Right.
It takes special brake rotors, and I didn't know this. I was like 19. So we're wheeling, having a great time. And all of a sudden I realized I don't have brake pressure anymore, and I got a really crazy noise. So I pull my front left wheel off, and the hat of the rotor is attached to the lug still on the wheel.
What?
And the actual rotor face itself is just flopping around on top of the knuckle.
Oh my God.
So I didn't have a forged rotor. I bought cast rotors because they were like $60 cheaper.
Right.
Well, the pressure from having to drill the holes out for the lockout was too much and stripped the entire inside of that rotor out.
Oh my God, dude.
Well, now we're talking about small town America. West Branch is like 60 people or 100 people. It's not very big.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's like a Walmart and like a McDonald's and a couple gas stations.
It's
and
small
a hotel
town. It's not like
run the thing in.
Yeah, and it's Sunday, so everybody's closed because it's church day.
Right.
So thankfully, 2 of my buddies stayed with me, or 3 of my buddies stayed with me, and we're trying to figure this out. And we're like, well, I can't drive it home. I didn't have a tow rig, so I need to figure out how to get it home. None of my buddies had trailers yet. We were all 19, right?
Right, yeah.
So we run into Walmart, and they didn't have anything. We were able to get to local AutoZone, and they finally opened up. We got there. We got the brake rotor.
Uh-huh.
But it needs to be machined out 30 thou to clear my lockout head. So we're in this guy's shop. Some nice guy that let us borrow his garage so we get out of it because it was like 12 degrees, 9 degrees, something like that.
God, dude.
Yeah. So he's like, you can use the garage and my tools if you want. We're like, rad, thanks, bro. So we get in there, and he has a die grinder but no bits. So we run into town, and I buy all of the Dremel tool grinding wheels.
Right.
I went through $60 worth of Dremel tool grinding wheels.
Oh, that hurts, dude.
Yeah, because they just blow up. It's on a die grinder, air powered die grinder. They had no pressure, so you'd go to aug it out, and it would just blow up. We finally got it machined enough to get the thing back on, and it fit, and it went back on. But it took us like 9 hours to just change one brake rotor.
Oh, that's
Such
painful,
dedication.
dude.
Yeah. So at that point, we're like, now what? Oh, we got smart, and we're like, you know what, screw it. I ended up just going to get in a hotel room back where we were at, and hung out with my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, and my buddy Ryan and his girl, and we had the whole place to ourselves. So we went home. So we just got drunk in the hot tub.
There you go. Okay, so
So
it
it's
wasn't
kind
a
of
terrible day.
So for me, like every terrible trip, I try to find something good out of it, because that's why I do it. If it was easy, everybody would do it, you know?
Right. I can understand
Yeah.
that.
I
That's
mean-
a good way to look
I mean,
at
'cause
life.
You could spin Moab as being a terrible trip, because the way out there, my Jeep like blew apart on a trailer. Wouldn't start when
Iowa,
the top ripped off in Iowa.
we hit the like hurricane force wind,
Yeah.
and it completely blew the top apart.
Right. Now we get there, and it won't start the one day.
Yeah, you were about to burn it down.
Then it died on the trail 3 times. So that could be a terrible trip, but the outcome was amazing, because I met great
I guess
people.
we're really decent at making the best of things.
That's true.
I think
That's
you
a way
gotta
to
be.
be.
I could dwell on stuff, but it just makes me miserable. I mean,
That's true.
Yeah, I think it's just the way we are. But, like, things could be so much worse. So
That's
it's
true.
not that bad.
what's your worst trip? You got one, Jay?
Man, not really, because nothing really like stands out, other than just blowing up my front end the Dana 30.
All right.
You know, I guess I've been pretty fortunate without, like I said, not being stranded for days, or
Right.
Maybe I'm prepared enough. I don't want to say that, but yeah. Other than that, but that was a crap. Again, you could say that was a crappy weekend, because it's a Friday to Saturday.
Yeah, we wheeled
Sunday.
Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, and then there's
And I broke it Friday morning.
Yeah.
Like, it was the first little, like, hey, before everyone comes up here, let's go hit this trail, and that's where I grenaded it.
Recipe for disaster.
So it was back on the trailer before everyone was even there. And then I'm bumming a ride. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still had a good time, though.
Oh, I had a blast. Yeah, I met, a couple more new friends, like, oh, just ride with me, and then you end up, talking with them for the whole trip.
I love that about the Jeep community. That's how I met one of my very, very good friends. Is I was wheeling and we were leaving the parking lot, and somebody was like, "Hey, Angel," I didn't know who the fuck it was. When I had the Doogie scooter, he's like, "Hey, Angel, can I ride with you?" I was like, I guess. Fucking terrific friends. I really love that
Right.
about the Jeep community. Or
And you're kind of
off-road.
like, you're inside or screaming no, but you're like, I can't say no, so hop on in, and then they're super rad people.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
so far
on
it's
the
definitely
internet
had its
all the time, but I'm a fucking loner, and I like being alone. I like being left alone. So it's
Right.
Yeah.
it's tough
Very
getting out of
similar.
my comfort zone.
Same.
Yeah, I think the Jeep. Yeah, you're right. The Jeep community does kind of help with that, because we're very similar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like we have our friends, and then but like, you know what I mean. That's like closed in after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go wheeling, and all of a sudden that friend group grows.
And
Right.
like this weekend, I'm looking at going to a meet and greet just to talk to people about Jeeps with Michigan Overland, just
Yeah.
to go hang out with Jeep people.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
If it was any other crowd of people, I'd be like, no, I'm good.
Right.
You know.
Is
Yeah,
your
not talking to
guys'
anyone, just
mayor
a
letting
random
you out
crowd.
of your houses now?
So you can't go to the gym, but you can go to the strip club.
Nuh-uh. That is not true.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
So all the gyms are closed, but you can go get a lap dance.
Wow.
I mean, it still gets your heart rate up, I guess. So
You're burning calories.
it's still
One
cardio.
way or the other.
Yeah.
Oh my
Sport.
God, that's a good moving on point. So,
Yeah.
what we're gonna talk about next is social media.
He actually has notes.
I do. No,
I
I have a
know.
fuckload of notes.
Scared.
This is so rad.
Okay, so how involved were you guys with social media before you started podcasting? Were you like avid Facebook users?
Little to none.
Little to none.
I'm not the social media guy. That's my co-host in here, but
So I'm gonna drop my age on this one.
okay.
My thing was I was huge into forums.
Right. Invaluable
Like
resource.
Like I get home from like college or whatever, even high school days, and I'd sit down and before I did my homework, I would look at Michigan Jeepers, Great Lakes 4x4, Great Lakes 4-Wheel Drive Association, Pirate, and I would read all the new posts that I missed. I had to go to school.
Yep.
You know, so that's like my first social media, if you will. And that's where I started kind of learning about everything and talking to people.
Right.
And then I got into Facebook, and I was sort of Facebook-y, but, you know, like I get sick of the drama on there. So I take sabbaticals quite frequently. But, you know, a lot of my family's in California. I've got family all over the state in Escanaba, which is like up in the UP. It's about 9 hours.
Okay.
So I don't see them. So social media is a great way to keep up with puppies or whatever, you know.
Right.
I got huge into CrossFit for a little while, and I'm not sure if you realize now, but that's a cult.
It is very much a cult.
It's the opposite of Fight Club.
Right.
Everyone talks
about CrossFit. So, of course, you know, every 3 days I was putting on my WOD number so people knew I went to the gym, because it doesn't count unless you do it on Facebook.
You can get no gains if you don't post about it. Everybody
You have to post the gains.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into it. And then I got into, you know, I've got friends that are vegans, and I've got friends that are left wing, and I've got friends that are right wing. So I actually have different accounts, like on Instagram, and like I won't post hunting pictures on one of them. But the other one's got all of me going to pig hunting.
No shit.
Yeah, I figured like if you're my friend, I can respect your values, and I don't have to show you a dead pig.
Okay, let me just pause right here and say Jim is probably the best person that I know in the fucking world. That's ridiculous. That just shows your true colors. You care so much about other people's feelings that you use different accounts for social media. Let's clap it up for you, buddy. Jeez. That just fucking blew my mind.
You see why he's the social media guy of the podcast?
That's ridiculous. Good for you, dude. Shit.
Yeah.
Making me feel bad.
That's what I started with that mask. Because, you know, I don't want to show people stuff they don't want to see.
Right.
Then I got big into photography, so I opened up another one for my photography stuff. So you can go to one place and see my photos. And then I got into the podcast. There's one for that. So I've got, I think, 5 Instagrams, 2 Facebooks. I still have a MySpace out there somewhere.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're how do I say this? You're good at social media. You're not your typical older fellow.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm okay with it. I came up on it, so it was kind of like my, you know, I came up in the 80s and 90s, and I came up on all that stuff. You know, MySpace was the hot thing when I was in school, but
right.
You know, the new kids are better than I am at it with all the Snapgrams and Insta tweets and what have you.
Do you do TikTok dances? Don't lie to me.
I have a TikTok, and I will get stuck in some wormholes. Because it goes from booty to dogs and puppies, and you're just like, oh, puppy, oh, booty, oh, puppy.
Dude, TikTok is the fucking worst. I'm so mad that I downloaded it because I get sucked in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed. 8:30,
I deleted it.
Going to bed. 9:45,
I deleted
I'm
it.
like, fuck.
Yeah. And you're over here like, savage. Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Oh, no, he on X Games mode.
See how that goes?
Yep. Yeah, I've been there. Your wife rolls over and elbows you because she's like, "What are you listening to? Nothing."
No, she's watching the
see,
same shit.
He doesn't have. I got teenage girls in the house, right? So they even get a glimpse of that audio. They know exactly what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
They can do the
and
whole
she hits
dance.
you with that.
Yeah, you know, I deleted it. I'm like, I can't have this. Too much.
Oh God. Okay, so in that vein, do you guys think over, let's say, the past 5 years or so, that social media has had a positive or negative reaction or whatever in our enthusiast group specifically, not like as a whole, like in off-road, the little group?
Wow.
Does that make
sense? This is in depth. Yeah, dude, it totally makes sense. But
yeah,
I'm kind of on the fence.
I wasted my whole day at work on this, guys.
I'm kind of on the fence because there's been some very, very positive things that have come from it. Like, for example, right now, what we're doing, I probably never would have talked to you, met you, been a podcast with you without social media.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, I would do the same. I would agree with that.
And I've met some very solid people like you that I don't know, like, in a personal aspect, but I talk to on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Via social media, which is super rad. And I've got friends now that I've got in California that I talk to, or Texas, that I would never talk to. Like, I'm not going to send them a postcard.
Right. Internet friends.
Yeah, internet friends. But, like, the same thing is the one guy just invited me to come down to go pig hunting in Texas.
Ooh, that sounds
like
fun.
I've been invited to go wheeling in California and Utah from Tim.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sure if I came down to Virginia, I was like, hey, I'm in town. Where do I go eat? You'd be able to help me out or, you know, stop by.
Absolutely, dude.
Where where 10 years ago or 5 years ago, I just had to go down there and rely on whatever the hotel manual had,
Right.
for food.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd be giving you that warning. Like, I think that dude, I think he's luring you.
Right.
Come to Virginia and hang out in this hotel with me. I'm like, dude, I don't think that's a good idea,
Right.
bro.
But
Some trucker stuff.
on the opposite side, like some of the bad stuff about it that I've seen is a lot of the new wheelers are keeping up with the Joneses.
Yep.
Right.
I
So you see a
Yeah.
guy like myself or Jason or you that have been wheeling for 20 years, and your nephew who's 18 goes out and buys a rig
Mm-hmm.
and wants to put 40s on it off rip because he needs it because
Right.
Jason's got it.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
yeah.
bro, I learned how to wheel on 30-inch all-terrains. That's how I started.
Yeah.
That's how you should start to know what your rig needs. But they see it on Instagram, they see it on Twitter and Snapchat gram, and they're like, if I get 40s, I'm an influencer, and I can get free
fucking
stuff.
hate that word so much.
Right. Well, that's what happens, right? I mean, shit.
Oh,
like,
definitely. I 100% agree with that.
so, and then you also see the other aspect of it where, like, cool secret spots. Like, I heard your boys from the Fab Shop where they had to rescue that cop. Remember that episode? They had to
Yeah.
go pull that cop out of the woods.
Mark, one of Mark's stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if they would have had social media and posted, "Hey, we're going wheeling at the spot,"
Mm-hmm.
and somebody tagged the spot, now everybody knows the spot,
Right.
and the police know the spot, and it's no longer the spot.
Right.
That's one of the problems I see with the media, because I see, especially my photography side. I'm sure you've seen it. Have you seen like influencers in the wild?
I refuse to look at that account. I've heard
What's that?
about it though. I know what goes on.
So it's like the people that I know you do photography.
yeah.
So when you go to a spot to shoot and it says no flash photography, you don't shoot flash photography. It says nobody beyond this point, you stop. Not influencers, they don't count. So they'll be on the edge of this cliff holding their puppy, drinking their latte. And I'm like,
Right.
well, that spot was only known to local till they got tagged on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So some of it is very negative because people are just buttheads and shit like that happens.
Right.
But overall, I think it's been a positive because I'm able to, do research. Hey, who's got Adams drive shafts? Are they good? Okay, cool. And then I got new drive shafts in 4 days from Adams. It took me 2 months.
Yeah,
February to June.
I don't know how
Yeah, to
you
have your
didn't lose
custom
your
one
shit,
made, a
dude.
local shop.
I would
yeah,
have been
I almost
quite
did.
ticked off, to say the
And
least.
I gotta go talk to the owner because I'm gonna see if I can get some kind. He's like, yeah, you owe me $200 for the difference from the old shaft and the new shaft.
Oh no.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, we need to speak because
Yeah.
I got Adams. I paid like almost $1,000, but I got brand new shafts in 4 days
Right.
for two of them. You're trying to charge me almost $600 for one. Took me 4 months to get.
Yeah, that's a little silly.
I'm hoping it's gold.
Platinum, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could say that social media is the best thing ever,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for our community, it's been incredibly helpful because like KOH got big because of it. And I know it's a big event with lots of sponsors, lots of money.
Absolutely.
I just think like it's like anything else. The downside is the wormhole you could go down.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you could go insane going off everyone's little advice.
Yep.
Right? Like we talked about your TJ. If we even mentioned like building a 44, you're gonna have a group of guys just losing their mind, like, oh, you're wasting your money, this and that.
Right.
No, you understand the rig that you're building and the areas that we're wheeling is gonna be different than
My style, my weight.
I'm 100% confident that would be ideal for that rig.
Right. But not on the internet.
Right. You go on the internet and they lose their mind, tell
Right.
you you're wasting your money, and if it's not like a 5-ton military axle, you're gonna break it.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't like. Social media gives everyone a voice, whether they deserve to have one or not, and that's like you said. You just
Exactly.
have to take a little bit of bad with most of the good.
It's almost like a podcast. You can just make one.
Exactly right. Who the fuck said you could do a podcast?
All right.
Remember before you had to go to like the local public access channel to get on. Now we can just put it right on the internet.
Now we're
Right.
spewing our BS on the internet.
all
For
over the world.
free,
Just
dude. It's ridiculous.
complete BS. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is we're almost done. I promise.
Okay.
So rad.
I was just saying we're kind of getting a little tight here for time. So all right, what you got?
All right, then I'll skip that one. Okay, we're gonna do hot takes. This is gonna be rapid fire. I only need 1 or 2 sentences per response. And when I say this thing,
Oh, snap.
so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go Jim first, then Jason for these 4 things. Okay.
Jim first and Jason. Got it.
Gotta go fast. All right. 1 or 2 sentences. Initial thoughts when I say this. RGB halo headlights.
No.
Okay.
No.
No. Okay. The JL Wrangler.
Yeah, I'd wheel it.
Okay.
I mean, it's an update. It's new. It seems like it's okay. You said a couple sentences, right?
Yes.
Something like that.
It's got heated seats.
A year ago, yes. Today, no.
Okay.
I know why.
The new Bronco that's about to come out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, just yeses. Okay. I'm really excited for that release. By the way, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So my family is a Ford family, so
Okay.
that means I'm kind of price-wise obligated to go Ford, right? Like it'd be kind of silly for me, I get like the A plan,
Right.
So I'm finally like, I have a Ford Jeep,
Right.
like and everything I've heard and seen, it looks like it'll be pretty good, and people are gonna hate on me for it, but whatever, I don't care.
No, it's gonna be rad.
I don't
I'm
think
excited
there's
for
some
it.
hate on the Jeep pages.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I think it's going to be good for all around because it's going to level the field. Finally, Jeep has a competitor,
I agree.
and I think it's going to level those two out. Right? It's kind of going to got to slap you back to reality.
But Jeep pages are like incestuous because they bitch about the last real Jeep was the CJ, the last real Jeep was the TJ, the last real Jeep was the JK.
Oh, I know. But now now they're like, oh, it's just copying the Jeep, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, you don't understand. It's going to keep like
Jeep and Bronco have been copying each other for years.
right.
It's what they do.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a rad competition that might give the JL a run. It's going to hurt the JL's profit margins.
Yeah,
I think
which
so.
is good because I looked at one yesterday. I stopped and it's that gator color. Have you seen this yet?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this super sexy OD green.
Yes.
$55,000.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
And I'm like, it's a Jeep, bro.
And I think they to me personally, I think they kind of got a little ahead of themselves with pricing a vehicle that's so utilitarian.
Right.
Pricing it at like Cadillac level. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like to me,
you'll get a pretty rad F-150. Yeah.
And I think, yeah, exactly. I got an F-150 fully loaded for what I would get a Sahara.
Right.
So I think it's gonna kind of, slap them down to reality a little bit. They're probably both going to be equally expensive. Let's be real,
Right.
because
for
like,
sure.
new cars are. But at least they have something to compete back and forth against.
Well, I paid $24 for my Jeep in 2011.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me the technological advancements from 2011, 2020, 9 years is $20,000 worth of advancements.
Right. Yeah.
And I've already heard, I read an article not too long, and I could be wrong. It could be a complete bullshit article. I don't know. But that, now Jeep's already making certain things standard on their base model. Right now standard, you get like the touchscreen, and now standard, so they're already like, oh shit,
I saw that article to compete with the Bronco.
We better dial our game in to be
Right.
competitive. And I think that's good. I think that's good for everybody. Like it, love it, hate it. That's where I'm at.
I think it's gonna be rad. And it'll be something different because like I love Yodas. I love the old Broncos and like the OJ era Bronco.
Yeah.
But like pretty much if you want an off-road truck now, you get a Wrangler.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because it's kind of the direction I want to go.
Right.
Yeah, I'm ready for different. All right, next and last one for hot takes is clubs that have dues versus Facebook groups.
So I've been a member of both.
Right.
The thing that's cool about clubs that have dues is you can be selective about who you're wheeling with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the idea of not being inclusive as far as, race, gender, creed, sexual orientation, that kind of stuff. But if you're attached to a guy who's an ass and he's fucking up the trails and he's ruining stuff for other people and he's a problem, you can boot him.
Right.
Versus a Facebook club where a dude just changes his name from Mike Honcho to Mike Wincho and then he's back on your page fucking up your world.
Right. Just trolling the hell out of you.
Yeah.
No,
So
I agree with that.
at least I was in a club that had dues called SOFO, Soldier Fortune Off-Road. I was in it for like 20 years.
Yeah.
It's a great club. It's good people. But the other aspect of that is since it was a dude club, we were down to like 7 active members.
Oh shit.
So
Tough to maintain.
Tough to maintain, hard to maintain. And then like with life happening with 7 people, if I put up, hey, going wheeling this weekend, I get one response. Last minute, that person backs out. I might as well go by myself.
Right.
You jump on Facebook. We got like Wicked Jeeps, which is a local Facebook group. There's like 20,000 members.
Mm-hmm.
If I put going wheeling tomorrow, I'm going to get somebody to go wheeling with me tomorrow.
Right.
But you have, and then with that, you have people who are like the extreme end of wheeling, right? With the 40s and the 1-tons and the trailers to, hey, I just bought a Compass today and now I'm in the club.
Right.
So you have that whole gamut where I agree with you. I think with a club with dues, it kind of weeds out a lot of the I'm not so into it.
Right.
And especially
Mhm.
if those dues go to a purpose, right? Like if they go to maintain state trails
Mhm.
or they go to that. I'm not all for dues that go to pay for, I get a sweet t-shirt
Right.
and then, this guy somehow comes up with a free wench, like when we go to an outing,
So like when I was in SoFo, our club dues we would do like a wrench fest.
Yeah.
At somebody's house to work on Jeeps, and they would buy the pizza.
I'm down
Okay.
for that.
Or then it would pay for like one big club event, like we'd all go to Silver Lake and it'd pay for the rooms, or take off $200 off the total thing of room.
Like, yeah,
Right.
it like benefits the group as a whole, and
Right.
it goes to a good person.
Because
I'm good with
SoFo
that.
does trail maintenance, so we go around and the DNR pays X amount of dollars to actually maintain miles of trails.
Okay.
So the club will go out. The club make like $1,200 a year from the DNR, and we can put that money back into the club on top of my $20 a month dues.
Right.
So that's the beautiful thing about it. Like I said, I wouldn't want to discriminate against anything, race, sex, creed, all that kind of mess. Like that's stupid. But like if I can say, hey, dude in a Liberty, you can be in our club, but just so you know, we're going to go to Teleco and
Right.
we're going to punish our rigs.
Right.
Maybe you shouldn't show up. Versus
minimum
when we
requirements.
we were up at Drummond Island for Winter Jeep Jamboree, and I'm on 37s and locked, and the guy in line behind me was in a stock Jeep Liberty with road tires on it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I bet
like,
that was
this
fun.
isn't- Yeah.
'Cause he paid his dues.
Transmission did not like that. But that's the same thing too. Is like, hey, when you get like a big club, it's out of control. When you have the one that pays dues, you're like, hey man, I saw your Facebook pictures last week of you like tearing up outside the trail.
Right.
That's not what we're about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Bye-bye.
you're not representing us properly.
Yep.
You out.
Get
Here's
the
your
fuck
$12.
out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
bye-bye.
$12. Take our stickers off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like you better hand me a bunch of scraped stickers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, there's goods and bads. I mean, and some people will say that like Facebook clubs aren't real clubs because there's no dudes. Like I know dudes are on Beat Not Baby or even Seven Thought Society.
Ooh,
It's like
I've
it's
said
a
that.
Facebook thing.
Yeah,
That's a quote from me. Angel has said that.
Right.
but there's definitely a place for those as well.
Right.
No, there
And that's
very
getting
much
people
is.
involved, and I think it leads them down to that, like, hopefully that sector they want to go down.
Well,
right?
like
Whether it's
Wicked
just-
Jeeps. We'll use that for example because
Yeah.
it's a big one. Wicked Jeeps is a local internet club. I'm sure it's all over now. But they do like a newbie thing where one of the experienced guys in the club will be like, hey, we're going to this park this weekend. I'm going to teach you how to recover from the mud pit.
yeah, they do good.
They have
They have the right people, and they
Yeah.
have the base that can pull from that.
And that's super helpful. And if those people want to go on, like I'm a member of Great Lakes Four-Wheel Drive Association as well, which is like our national club, our regional club that fights for our rights.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to move from being a Wicked Jeeps member to a Great Lakes member, it's $20 a year or
And I've seen a
whatever.
lot of them that have done that.
And then they all fight. And not to mention, if Wicked pushes it and we can get those 20,000 members in the Great Lakes, our voice to be heard is going to be amazing to keep trails open, which is what we need.
Right.
Versus I know I'm on 7 Slot. I'm on your site. I love it.
Mhm.
I understand it. To me, it's hilarious. But if you bring in like my mom, because my mom's got a Grand Cherokee, if she wants to join that site because she thinks it's a Jeep site,
She's going to
Yeah.
be sorely
what I'm saying?
disappointed and probably
right?
offended.
When it's tacos and memes and we're MFing each other all the time, we all
Yeah.
know it's family. My
Right.
mom's not going to think that.
Yeah.
So that's one other nice thing. If it's a controlled club and she's met just 7 people in SoFo and she knows that they're all genuinely good people, if somebody calls me a douchebag on that forum, she knows she's joking.
Right. Yeah, I agree. There's a time and a place for everything.
Everything in my life is pretty much gray because there's no black and white. Like you said, I mean, internet clubs, good or bad. What's the worst wheeling experience you ever had? It's kind of all subjective.
Right. Yeah, it depends on how you look at it. And you have just a worldview that is phenomenal to me. I'm so glad we did this podcast. I feel like I learned so much about you guys today. So much that I didn't know. So as we're
Yeah,
wrapping up,
same. We
are there
appreciate it.
any final thoughts or topics that you want to cover that we didn't cover? Anything that's burning a
Man,
hole in your heart?
I think we pretty much hit them all.
No, I mean,
We hit a lot of shit. I had detailed
it,
notes.
Yeah.
it varied.
There's
I
definitely more out there, but I think we're gonna need to.
do a part 2, and we'll get questions for you next time.
Woohoo!
Ooh, I like it.
Hell yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys again. It has been an absolute
Thank you,
pleasure.
brother.
If people want to catch up with you on social, where can they find you?
OffroadGaragePodcast.com, Offroad Garage Podcast on Instagram, Offroad Garage Podcast on Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We're
Twitter.
international.
Are you doing Twitters?
Yes, we're on Twitter very rarely.
Yes.
Jay's in charge of Twitter account, so he doesn't tweet.
So
Same-
you're not.
same
Don't
for
go
me.
to Twitter for up-to-date info.
I am not a Twitter guy. All right, we are going to wrap this podcast up. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode where we sit down with the current CEO of Fiat Chrysler, Michael Manley.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Nice.
That's
That'll
fucking
be a good one.
ridiculous. We are not doing that. That is not happening. All right, did you guys have an outro you wanted to roll? That's
Yep,
all
we're
I
out.
have in my notes.
Here comes the outro.
all right. Are you ready?
Yes.
And we're out.